racing film.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. How are you today?
I'm good, Mr. Whitaker. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you coming by today. This is the intake interview, as we spoke about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing I want to ask you is, do you have any questions about the informed consent that you and your mom signed?
No, not really.
All right. No questions at all. Everything's fine.
Looks
Cool
good.
with everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I just want you to know that we are an outpatient facility. Okay. So this is not a place that you come and you stay overnight or anything like that. You come at your own free will. You come here on scheduled times, and you will meet with me on the scheduled times, and we meet for about an hour every time that we meet.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
What you say here is confidential, and it will not be spread anywhere. All right. We keep it strictly confidential between you and I, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions about that?
No.
No? Okay. Well, let's start off with what brings you here to our place.
Well, I don't want to be here. My mom is kind of the reason, I guess, why I'm here. She seems to think that I am depressed lately. So I mean, I guess the school principal, school counselor reached out to my mom and basically said that I didn't seem my normal self and I wasn't doing too well in school the last couple of weeks, and you know, next thing I know, here I am.
Okay. And what school is this that you go to?
Brandywine High School.
Brandywine High School?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what grade are you in?
I'm in 11th grade. I'm a
11th
junior.
grade.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said the principal noticed that you weren't acting. What is normal to you?
Well, I mean, like, I was the JV captain on the soccer team, so I was like pretty involved in sports, and I was playing a winter sport. I was doing wrestling, but then probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just decided that I didn't really want to wrestle anymore, and
Okay.
I wasn't having as much fun with that, so I kind of just stopped wrestling. And then my grades started to slip a little bit. Classes, I haven't really been paying attention at all in any of my classes. And I don't know, I bombed a couple of math exams. That's probably why the principal found out, because like I was on the honor society and I was like one of the best mathletes at the school too. We have a math club, and I was always one of the best people. I stopped attending those meetings, started getting bad grades on my math tests, and that's probably why like the school counselor found out, and then she told the principal, and then the principal called my mom, so
Okay.
that's probably why I'm here.
There was something that you said earlier, if I can just go back just a little bit. You said lost interest when you were talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
How long did you wrestle?
Well, before this year, I wrestled for 4 years. I started
4 years.
in started 7th grade,
Uh-huh.
and so this would have been my 5th full year.
Uh-huh.
So, like, you know, I got really into it in middle school. A couple of my friends, they did it, and they always had fun wrestling. So I figured that, you know, I would have fun too, and I did. You know, like, it was always fun, and you know, freshman and sophomore year, I always had a lot of fun. But this year we got a new coach, and him and I didn't really see eye to eye all the time, and I don't know, just the whole having to go through practice after school, and you know, having to shower once practice is over, and then roll up all the mats and make sure they're all mopped and put away properly, and you know, I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I just decided that I'd rather focus on other things.
How was your relationship with your previous coach?
It was really good. So that was the coach who actually got me into wrestling in 7th grade. So he was there for the 2 years, and then as I went to high school, he kind of followed me along, and He was also the coach at our high school too. So I mean, it was really cool because he taught me a lot about wrestling and, you know, a lot about just, you know, trying to take care of the business at hand, you know, whether it's trying to pin the kid, whether it's trying to get yourself out of a pin, you know. He always told us that we should do whatever we can for our moms and dads because they're the ones who we need to be most grateful for, and, you know, just I guess like little life lessons along the way. And so you know, this year without him there, it was definitely a lot different. So I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why I wasn't really all that into wrestling this year, and probably, you know, would have been different if he were the coach.
Was there any anxiety or any excitement or any kind of feelings when you found out that he wasn't going to be there and this new coach was going to be there?
Yeah, definitely.
Which one? Excitement, anxiety, mixture of both?
I'd say yeah. Probably like a mixture of both.
Okay.
You know, I was definitely excited to see the new coach, and, you know, the new year always brings in new guys coming out to the wrestling team. So I mean, it's always exciting to, you know, get to spar with them in the, you know, preseason and as the season goes along and practice and every day. It's nice to wrestle new partners, but definitely anxious because I mean, he's the one who got me into the sport in the first place, and he had always had my back since the beginning and always, you know, went out of his way to kind of help me learn a new move or stayed after practice with me just to talk and things like that. And so there's definitely a different season without him out there on the mat this year. So that kind of...
It seems like a different relationship from one coach to the other.
Yeah,
This relationship with this coach now is different.
It is. Yeah. Like he's older than my other coach. Like my other coach was probably in his mid-30s.
Okay.
This guy I think seems like he's 80 the way that he freaking talks to us. But I don't know. He's probably like my dad's age, whatever, like 50, 60. But he just doesn't know how to communicate with us, and I don't know, I just feel like all of the practices we do the same thing every day. So I'm not getting better. My friends on the team, they weren't getting any better too, and I don't know, like I figured it wasn't worth sticking around and, you know, trying to give my best effort every day when I'm not getting any better, I'm not learning anything new, and I don't like the coach, so that's why I quit.
2 weeks into the season?
Yeah.
Okay. If we can go to the math league that you were talking about. You said that you were one of the best mathematicians in the school.
Yeah.
And that you were in math league, and then it sounds like there was like a all of a sudden type thing where there was a switch from being in math league and being one of the tops in the school to grade slipping and no interest or very little interest in math league.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you think might be the switch, or what your feelings on that?
Well, I mean, it could be a couple things. I mean, just trying to think about it, I don't know, like, probably like a month ago when I did quit math league, it was like, there's a lot of new people who were joining, and I didn't necessarily agree with the people who were joining. Like there's like an entrance test basically to get into the club, and you know, there's like a minimal score or whatever, and the 3 people that they let in, it was 2 girls and 1 guy, and I'm really good friends with the girls, and I don't like the guy at all, and the 2 girls did great on the exam, so they obviously got in, but the guy got in and he barely got the score. Like he just barely made the score, and so I mean, I was glad that my friends had made it in because I wanted to hang out with them. I wanted to, you know, be a part of this club with them. But then they're really good friends with the other guy who got in, and I'm not really that tight with him. I don't like him that much, and so you know, the 3 of them are all kind of in math league now, and they were all buddy-buddy, and it felt kind of like, I don't know, like I was being left out, but I don't think that he deserved to be in, so for him to be there and I guess just like, you know, steal my spotlight, and you know, now everybody's turning to him for help on their math tests, and everybody's talking to him at the lunch table and asking him, you know, about these math problems and things like that. And I mean, like I'm glad that somebody got in, but I'm just mad that it was him, because I don't think he deserved it. But I guess another reason would be there's a new video game that came out about like a month ago, and that's kind of been taking up some of my time. Like it's kind of like the only activity that I do that I enjoy at this point. Like I go home and I just get on my Xbox and play hours and hours of Fortnite, and I love it. It's like one of the only things that, I don't know, that calms me down, or, you know, that I can do after school and not just be so totally bored and doing. Like wrestling was boring, math league was boring, hanging out with my friends was boring, so I kind of just use the game, I guess, to do something. I mean, because if not, I would literally just be sitting at home doing nothing, watching TV, doing nothing.
Okay. So Fortnite is taking the place of wrestling, math league, friends, anything else that you used to do that has been replaced?
Well, I was gonna play a sport in the spring too. I was
Spring
thinking
sport.
about playing baseball too.
Baseball.
You know, because one of my best friends, he plays baseball, and he's always been trying to get me to come out and play. And I was going to play this year, but you know, we had all these plans to, you know, go hit the batting cages and, you know, have a toss in the outfield a couple times after school. But I mean, I haven't really done that since I started playing that video game, and I don't know, I don't really see a need to anymore, because I don't think I want to play anymore anyway.
For Fortnite, now how many hours a day do you think you play Fortnite?
Probably about 6.
6 hours a night or a day?
Yeah. Like I get off at school at like 2:30, and then, you know, by 3 o'clock I'm already on there playing, and, you know, dinner's at 6, and then take a shower, and then get right back on the game. So yeah, probably like 6 hours a night.
Okay. 6 hours, so you play till about 10, 11?
Mm-hmm.
And does it ever go past 10 or 11?
Yeah. Like last night, for example, I was just in this really, really good group, and, you know, we kept winning and winning and winning. These were just random people who I was paired with, so it was kind of strange that we had so much success, but I mean, we won the first game, and then next thing I know, we ended up playing another 6 games, and then I look at the clock and it's 11:45, and I was like, oh man, like, I need to go to bed, you know, like I have to go to school in the morning, even though I didn't want to go to school, but unfortunately that's one of the things that I just have to do, so I ended up going to bed. It was like midnight last night, so pretty tired today.
How often does it go past, let's say, 10 o'clock, Fortnite?
Well, recently, more often, just because, like I said, like those random people, we ended up exchanging gamer tags, and so we're friends now online, and so whenever I like see one of those guys online, like we'll play a couple games, but they're all from the West Coast, so you know, they're a few hours behind me. So, you know, like when it's normal time for them to be going to bed, like, you know, 9 or 10 at night, it's really 12 or 1 for me out here. And you know, I like to stay on the game as long as I can, because I like, you know, talking to those guys, and I like the fact that we're playing this video game together. But I mean, it definitely has been cutting into my sleep, and definitely shouldn't be playing as much Fortnite as I am, but I don't know, like I said, it's kind of the only thing that I feel like doing.
Okay. Now you mentioned the word friends when you talked about the people that you play Fortnite with online.
Mm-hmm.
And then earlier in our conversation, you were talking about losing friends.
Yeah.
Are these friends replacing the old friends? Tell me the difference between your friends online
Mm-hmm.
and the friends, let's say, in a math league. And so
Right.
Tell me the difference.
Well, I mean, with the new friends, it's like they're always there. Like I can pretty much whenever I get home from school, or I mean, because they're a few hours behind, maybe around 5 o'clock, let's say, they're pretty much online by that point. So I get to spend a good amount of time with them at night playing Fortnite. But I would say that, like, you know, they are kind of replacing my old friends because they're like the only ones who will talk to me. And the kids in the math league, they just didn't understand it. They just, I don't know, like, he didn't deserve to get into the club, and yet they still supported him and still wanted to be like his best friend. And you know, I just don't think that it's right because he barely got the passing score. He probably cheated off them anyway, but he like barely got the passing score, and now he's the man, and everybody wants to go to him, and everybody wants to ask him for advice and study with him because he knows all the answers. And I don't know, I guess, you know, there wasn't any drama in my conversations with my friends on Fortnite. Like, you know, we just talk about the game, and we talk about, you know, strategy for the game. We don't talk about, you know, who's dating who or who got a higher score on this quiz or that quiz. It's just talk about the game. So, I mean, I guess that would be the biggest thing. There's less drama with the guys I play online with.
Okay. So less drama. I guess you could say that they're qualified to be on the game, right? As opposed to the guy in the math league who barely made it, and math league is supposed to be best of the best.
Right.
So they're qualified to be where they are. And then there's no drama. They're talking about the game, Fortnite strategies. And in math league, no one's really talking to you, especially since this guy got into the math league.
Right. And
there's
I bet
drama.
he cheated too. Like, he probably cheated on that exam to get in, which makes no sense why he's in it. Because he cheated, and now he's a cheater, and everybody thinks that he's smart. I don't care.
And then you said about stealing your light.
Yeah.
Stealing your light.
Right. I mean, like I said, I was one of the best math students in the whole school. Like, I got the recommendation from my AP stat teacher to go try this club out, and you know, I did, and sure enough, I was the #1 student. You know, like, I always led our team whenever we had math meets against other schools, and now I just am not even part of the team anymore. But it's their fault, it's not mine.
What does mom or any other family member say about or think about the transition from, you know, excited about wrestling, math league, having friends, thinking about baseball, to Fortnite, not as much interest in school is what it sounds like, right? Not as much interest in school.
Yeah.
Not on the wrestling team anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not on the math league team anymore.
Yeah.
Not as many friends as before, and your friends are on Fortnite. What does mom and any other family member that's associated with you think?
My mom, she's always worried, so I mean, it's nothing new really, but my dad seems to be really worried. Like, he wrestled back in high school, and he was also one of the reasons why I started wrestling back in middle school. You know, him and my coach, they had a good relationship. So I mean, he was definitely a big influence on why I wrestled, and you know, he was always encouraging me to you know, try my best in wrestling, and you know, always pushed me to go further, go harder, go faster. And you know, same thing with like math league. Like my dad thought it was a good idea because it would be something good to put on my resume, and my mom agreed, and she thought that, you know, me getting good grades in school and everything would mean that I was normal and mean that I was doing well in school and things like that, but I don't know, like that just doesn't seem like I want that anymore. Like I don't really care about wrestling, like I don't care about the math league anymore because they're all a bunch of cheaters and turncoats. I don't care about them either. But I mean the baseball thing too, like my friend that wanted me to play baseball, he's pretty worried about me just because he thinks that I'd be wasting my time, you know, like where we could learn to play a sport together, and you know, we could potentially learn a new hobby, but instead I just kind of play video games because it's like the only thing I want to do.
Okay. Are there any other family members that have expressed concerns to you, or have said anything to you about the change?
Yeah, I mean, I have two older sisters, and I mean they're both away at college, so it's not like they're home that often, but you know, the last time that they were all home was like, you know, Christmas and New Year's, and they said to me that I seemed different, and you know, I didn't seem like my normal self or whatever, but I don't know, I could say the same thing about them because they went away to school, and you know, they have all these friends now, they're going to all these different parties, they're enjoying the classes that they're taking, and you know, they don't have rules necessarily, like they can kind of go by their own schedule. So I don't know, like they're, I guess, a little bit concerned. And I mean, my uncle, he lives across the street too, and we're pretty close, and you know, we usually walk his dogs at least once or twice a week, and I mean, we haven't done that in the last few months, so don't see him that often anymore, so that kind of sucks.